Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
India, a living variety. A variety of people, cultures and landscapes coexist in it harmoniously. One element in this variety are the numerous tribes that inhabit its different regions. Warm, welcoming, gracious and hardworking, it is the tribes that have conserved the traditional cultures of India in their folds. Here is one such tribe found across the western district of Nilgiris, Coimbatore, Salem, Dharampuri, and especially around the Erode district of Tamil Nadu. They are the Sholagas. Sholagas are an ancient people. Legend has it that two brothers, Karayan and Madheshwara, once lived in the forests bordering the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The Sholagas consider themselves descendants of Karayan, while their neighboring tribe, the Lingayats, consider Madheshwara their ancestor. The most logical interpretation of the word Sholaga is to see it as a variant of the Tamil Solai, or dense forest, and perhaps refers to the thickets in which the Sholagas originally lived. They are identified as a scheduled tribe in the Constitution of India, and according to the 1981 census, only 4,827 of them are alive. Sholagas are medium-built people, moderate in stature with wide nostrils and an oval or round face. Men usually wear cropped hair and an occasional beard, while women wear it long, parted in the middle. Applying sandal paste on the forehead appears a popular custom here. On a working day, women wear the usual sari and blouse, while the men are in dhoti or pant and shirt. Little Sholagas romping about in half pants are accompanied by little girls in skirts and blouse or frocks. The Sholagas are divided into 12 patrilineal clans or kulams, of which the Devana, Kalkatti, Kolika, Kupu, Kurunaga, Purika and Samba are found in the Erode district. The other 5 are found in the neighboring districts and state. Whatever their clan, Sholagas generally speak the Sholaga or Old Kannada language, which has a rich tradition of folk songs and proverbs preserved and transmitted orally. Sholagas have a sunburnt, oily skin that reflects the dense, humid and warm forests they live and work in. That is why they are referred to as the Podu Sholagas, as opposed to the Urali Sholagas found in the non-forest regions. Sholaga hamlets or podus can be found interspersed among these hills and forests. Well-kept mountain roads are plenty in the region, and so are the connecting bridges, but they have a low traffic density. It is connected by a transport network, but in the interiors, the roads where they are present are in a pitiable condition. Following one such road, we reach a Sholaga settlement, Talavari. Poor law and order conditions have left these innocent people in an underdeveloped state. So, the Sholaga community is somewhat isolated from the mainstream life of Tamil Nadu. Neatly whitewashed and colorful mud houses greet us on both sides of the streets, while the streets themselves intersect at right angles. Simple yet neat, these avenues are also the playground of the children. Inside one of the houses, the neat simplicity repeats. On one side of the house is the kitchen, and adjacent to it is the living room. An adjoining shed serves as a pen to tether the animals. These traditional houses have very low front doors. Houses here have a front veranda used for welcoming or other purposes, and when the house is in the back, a narrow alley leads into this space. The roofs are normally thatched with hay on a simple bamboo grid. A prominent part of the living room is devoted to the gods. Sholagas are a deeply religious community and worship ancestral spirits, tribal deities, as well as Hindu gods and goddesses. Karayan, their original ancestor, is also the chief tribal deity. Among the prominent Hindu deities worshipped are Nanjudeswara Swami, a form of Lord Shiva, Ranga Swami, a form of Lord Vishnu. Devout Sholagas visit the temple to worship Banariamma, one form of the goddess of chickenpox, Mariamma. This goddess is supposed to have magical healing powers, and devotees present offerings for her favor. But worshipping Mariamma is not only about presenting offerings, it continues into this dance performed exclusively by men to appease the goddess. As the beliefs, offerings and the gods suggest, Sholagas are primarily an agricultural community and depend heavily on the fields and forests for their survival. Using conventional modes of plowing and irrigation, the Sholagas grow a variety of crops including rice, cereals and pulses. But their main crop is millet, locally called ragi. Apart from these, the Sholagas also grow a number of vegetables like tomato and their regional favorite, beans. Tamarind is a popular fruit among them. The Sholagas eat most of what they grow on the fields or find in the forest. That leaves little scope for value addition to the primary produce. They are extremely fond of meat and eat pork, mutton, fish balls, etc., but avoid beef. Millet flour cooked in the form of a paste or gruel is their staple diet. Using wood as their fuel and mud, aluminium or steel utensils, the Sholaga prepare a variety of dishes. This is lemon rice or chittusoru, and this is soriputtu, poriyal and malage, that is rice with beans and red chili. Most Sholaga men prefer a smoke after meals and during the day, while the women love chewing tobacco at leisure. Water may not be available near every home, but it is not a problem here. The government has installed a number of such taps and pipelines for water supply. Overhead tanks like these store water for more immediate requirements. Apart from these, functional tube wells can also be spotted on the Sholagas countryside. Together with the annual rainfall, these taps and wells prove enough to meet the requirements of this small community. Apart from water, the other drink that the Sholagas crave for is tea. The whole family usually gets together around the stove for this brew. This group at tea is a joint family with guests and reflects that the system still survives among the Sholagas, though it is a nuclear family that is more popular. In such families, an avoidance relationship exists between the daughter and father-in-law and other elders. It is a patriarchal and patrilineal setup. All male children have equal rights over ancestral property. Women don't have any. Despite all the contributions they make to the family and the community, the general social status of women among the Sholagas is low. It is their reproductive potential that is valued highly. When a girl attains puberty, a special ceremony called Pushpavati is performed. Older women accompany the young girl to a separate hut or kunmudi made by her maternal uncle, where she stays for 5 days. On the 5th day, she is bathed in a nearby lake or stream while the hut is burnt. She is then brought back home to be dressed like a bride in new clothes, usually gifted by her maternal uncle. An elaborate puja ceremony follows. Every member of the community now gives her something. Fit to be a mother, she's now welcomed into community of women. The girl formally steps out of adolescence and crosses the threshold to enter adulthood. Her parents are now on the lookout for a suitable groom. A girl of 16 to 18 years is considered fit to be married to a man of 22 to 26 years of age. A musical procession carries the groom to the bride's house, where a wedding dance is performed. The wedding takes place in a pandal with 12 posts representing the 12 kulams erected for the purpose. The Sholagas practice endogamy at the tribe level and exogamy at the clan level. A Sholaga man may marry by eloping with or capturing his bride, but the preferred form of marriage is through negotiation. The actual ceremony involves a set of rituals, chief among which is the groom tying the thali or marriage patch around the bride's neck. At the end of the wedding, this bride and groom visit the Alagu Mariamma temple to seek the blessings of their clan deity. Marriages reveal Sholaga women dressed in their best ornaments. These colorful glass and plastic jewels come cheap and are an attractive substitute for their traditional metallic counterparts. Tattoos are also popular. Sometimes the whole of an old forearm is decked beautifully with it. Poverty has stripped this tribe of most of its gold and silver. So, a whole tradition of metal craft unique to the tribe has vanished. The Jews, however, disappear in the event of a death or divorce. Divorce is permitted, though rarely frequent. Either party can initiate the proceedings. If the man seeks it, he has to pay half the marriage expenditure. If it is the woman, she simply returns the thali. Families also break because of death. Elaborate mourning rituals are performed by the family members and the community, after which the body is buried.
As they do not have burial ground, mostly they bury the dead body inside the own agricultural land. See, this is the person who died 21 days back in this village, and after they brought here, they buried the place, and mostly the head is towards southeast. the eldest son will bring one stone and he will put on the head side of the buried place, and they preferred 5 clans related to the dead body. They also come and they erect their own stones for to protect the not only agricultural land, even for the family, as well as rebirth of the place as a grandson or daughter.
Sholagas are extremely particular about their customs and violations. If any, are immediately reported to this village council. It is headed by the Yajmana, who is assisted by the Kolkara and the Thandakara in the functioning of the council. Almost all the disputes arising within the community are settled here. Women participate in this council and stand up for their rights and liberties. Sholaga women display considerable confidence amidst adversity. Married women manage the entire household and soon a new member joins. Because the Sholaga population is very small, pregnancy and childbirth are events of great significance within the community. A pregnant woman observes certain pre-delivery rituals called Simant. Women prefer to handle the actual birth in their own house with the help of midwives. Sholagas choose not to visit the hospital. Birth pollution is observed for 11 days when no male member is allowed to touch the infant. On the 12th day, the entire house is cleaned and plastered with cow dung. A feast is cooked in a new vessel, and 12 Sholaga elders are invited to bless the new child. A simple ceremony is observed at the end of the 6th month when the child tastes for the first time. Growing children accompany their parents to fairs and festivals, especially if it is Gundam. Depending on the religious calendar, Gundam is celebrated for 2 to 3 days, either every year or once every couple of years. Detailed puja sessions are held at the end of which the whole community walks on a red hotbed of coals. This practice, it is believed, leads to fulfillment of one's wishes. As the fun ends, it's now time for serious study. Sholaga children have schools nearby for their primary and secondary education. Using innovative means, this school imparts education at all levels in Tamil. The government grants ₹10 to every student here between the 3rd and the 8th standards. Extra classes are held every day, while the school works overtime in the weekends to prevent the growth of private tuitions. Students undergo compulsory computer training that is intensive at the higher levels. For the students of this region, this is a second home which they have learned to take pleasure in. Its warm, friendly environment provides ideal conditions for the children to blossom. We found children practicing volleyball and wrestling over a kabaddi game. Still later, the school cultural troupe put up a lively song and dance session to brighten up the day. As we move away from the school, civilization appears distant. The nearest district-level hospital is quite far away, but is fairly well equipped. Seriously ill people, however, find their way to the hospital in time. The absence of regional dispensaries no doubt creates problems for the local people, but a knowledge of herbs passed from one generation to another takes care of their day-to-day ailments. Apart from health, most of the other needs appear adequately covered. An electronic telephone exchange provides landline connectivity to the region. Dish antenna like these feed signals to local TV sets that provide entertainment and enhance the awareness of the Sholaga community. A government fair price shop sells all essential commodities to the listed inhabitants of the region. The government has taken numerous initiatives to solve day-to-day problems of the Sholagas. This government colony had houses for every Sholaga family of the village, but lies deserted because it faces the forest and is open to elephant menace. Unlike the mud houses, it requires money for maintenance that most Sholagas cannot afford. So whenever they find a sympathetic ear, they try to explain their problems in the hope that something positive may work out. Efforts have been made to find a solution. A branch of the Bank of India has been opened to facilitate credit and banking facilities. The government has also implemented some self-help and income generation schemes. Sholagas welcome development initiatives with great enthusiasm. This group of officials working in the region meet a warm welcome involving traditional tribal customs. The VIP dance is performed as a part of the welcome. A lot has been done, yet a lot remains to be done for the people of this region. The difficult terrain, hostile law and order situation, and a somewhat indifferent bureaucracy have left these people complaining about housing, employment, and health facilities. For the situation to improve, it is the people who have to wake up and startle their leaders. It is this message that these Sholaga performers pass on to their brothers through this street play. The chorus heard here in return is a heartening reminder that the people of the region are aware, and the day is not far when this task will give way to a new dawn. Adivasi, Adivasi, Nange, Anda Parambarayum Nange. Adivasi, Adivasi, Nange, Anda Parambarayum Nange. Settalumi, Anda Katoduda, Vandalumi, Anda Malayoduda. Settalumi, Anda